Hello and welcome to this Pearson webinar on remote invigilation. My name is Chris Briggs. I am the Sector Manager for Post-16 English and Maths here at Pearson, and I'm with you today to talk through our new remote invigilation offer. So today we will be looking at what is remote invigilation, and then we'll look at some of the key details for providers, then the key benefits for providers, the key benefits for learners, and then have a look at some case studies as well. So our first question for today is, what is remote invigilation? So remote invigilation is a flexible approach to on-screen assessment delivery, allowing assessments to be booked when the learner is ready without the pressures of ensuring invigilators or rooms are available within the provider. Pearson takes care of all the invigilation requirements for these assessments. The learners themselves are invigilated via their webcam, their microphone speakers, a mobile phone device, camera, and screen share. There is no need to download software onto the computer to run the assessment. This system actually uses an online version of the assessments. And once an intention to offer form is completed by a provider, the service predominantly follows Pearson's business as usual protocols. So let's look at some key details for providers. Providers need to complete the intention to offer form, which is available on our website, so that they can be set up on Pearson systems. Now, this only needs to be done once per provider. The assessments themselves are booked in the usual way, with the additional drop-down option to select remote invigilation for your learner. Now, to access these assessments, we do require 7 days notice for bookings. And these assessments are booked for a specific time and date of your choosing. The assessments can be accessed 1 hour before the scheduled start time and up to 3 hours after, to allow for unexpected situations that can make it difficult to log in at a specific time. Once booked, you need to provide Pearson with a unique email address for each learner, and this is done through a form on our booking system. We will then use the email to send the learner the links they require to complete system checks. Once these system checks are completed, we will then send them the link to access their assessment. If the learner is taking more than one assessment with remote invigilation, they will receive a separate email for each assessment and will need to complete the checks more than once. Each individual invigilation is charged at £22.99, which is in addition to any assessment fees Pearson usually charges. Our remote invigilation webpage provides full guidance for providers and for your learners, including technical guidance and an "Are you ready to take your assessment at home" checklist. And this is to help ensure that everything runs smoothly on the day. Live chat support is also available for the duration of the test. Now, to support your learners, we do suggest that you ensure that your learner has a point of contact in the provider in case of any issues or concerns, or if assessments are scheduled outside of business hours, ensure that the learners are aware of a delay in receiving a response from you. We would recommend that you check in with your learner within 2 days of the scheduled date of the assessment to ensure that they have received the first email and have been able to complete all the checks successfully. On the day of the assessment itself, ahead of the scheduled start time if possible, just to make sure they're ready for their tests, and after the assessment to ensure that they attended and completed their test with no issue. So let's take a look at the key benefits for providers. There are a number of key benefits for providers with Pearson's Remote Invigilation service. It saves you time and resource. Our easy to set up home assessments can be taken by learners without the need for you to arrange an invigilator. They're easy to book with no specified time slot, so assessments can be booked for any time on any day. There's reduced pressure on exam administration, on training, timetabling and logistics. There's no need to download software onto computers to run the assessments themselves. There's no cancellation of assessments due to disruptions such as COVID-19 or the weather. There's reduced pressure on testing on site, so the assessments can take place at home. There's also reduced workload for invigilators and assessors. There's no need to travel to the assessment, for example. And it also allows remote teaching to be complemented by remote assessment. Let's take a look at some of the key benefits for learners. There are a number of key benefits for learners with the Pearson Remote Invigilation service. There's reduced travel time, so the assessments can be taken in a suitable location of the learner's choosing. They don't have to travel to get to their assessment. The assessments can be scheduled to take place at a time that is convenient for the learner, so that it fits in and around their home and work commitments. The learners can take their assessment in a familiar environment, which can reduce anxiety that a testing room can cause. There's no computer downloads, so the learners are free to focus on the assessment itself. Pearson also provides clear, comprehensive guidance to support learners as they prepare to take their assessment remotely. And the assessments can be accessed 1 hour before the scheduled time and up to 3 hours after, to allow for unexpected situations that may make it difficult to log in at a specified time. So let's have a look at a few case studies of how this can be used. Look, first up, we have case study 1 on work-based learning. And here a provider is delivering apprenticeships across a range of specifications. Now these learners are based in the same county, but some of them are over an hour away from the offices of the provider. Remote Invigilation now allows those learners to complete their assessments without having to travel into an assessment center or completing the assessment in the workplace. Previously, in this situation, the provider was having to rent rooms for the assessment close to the learners, and the Remote Invigilation service means that this no longer needs to happen. The learners themselves are happy they do not need to travel unnecessarily or take time off work to complete their assessment. Case study 2 is focused on adult learners and FE. And in this, an FE provider has been delivering qualifications remotely and wishes to continue to do so this moving forward. Now these learners find it difficult to attend college in person, so studying remotely suits them. Remote Invigilation now allows these learners to complete their assessments in exactly the same way from the comfort of their own home. And these assessments can take place when the learners have completed their learning and is therefore focused around their needs and not the needs of the college. The college does not have to deal with the logistics of trying to assess these learners within the college building. Case study 3 focuses on degree apprenticeships. And here a large provider has been delivering qualifications remotely, having created online learning modules for learners on their degree apprenticeship programs to access them when they need to. Now these learners are based nationally and do not attend the provider for any of their study sessions. Remote Invigilation now allows these learners to complete their assessments without having to travel into an assessment center or completing the assessment in the workplace. These assessments can take place when the learners have completed their learning module and is therefore focused around their needs and not the needs of the provider again. The learners are happy they do not need to travel unnecessarily or take time off work to complete their assessments. Thank you for watching the Pearson webinar today on remote invigilation. If you have any further questions around remote invigilation and the service that we offer, please do not hesitate to contact us. You can also find a wealth of information on our web pages as well to help you understand the service and use it effectively with all your learners.